What happens when your worst fear becomes your reality? Hi, I'm Brent Cassidy. Welcome to the Nightmare Success In and Out podcast, where we explore how to overcome your fears and nightmares to set yourself free. We're going to be exploring this topic with guys I was in Leavenworth with. We're going to be talking about life before prison, life in prison, and life out of prison. These stories can be inspiring, sometimes sad. There's some humor, but hopefully you can come away with a nugget of something that'll help you knock down some of the prisons you built up in your own mind. Folks, today I've got Randell McKoy with me here, and we're just talking about he is in New Mexico, which I did not know that. I always thought you were from Texas.
No, sir.
No, Texas.
No, the great state of New Mexico, Hobbs, New Mexico.
Well, I'll tell you what, being at Leavenworth, you were a long ways from home.
Yes, sir.
You know, and there's supposed to be like 500 miles? You can't be any further than 500 miles of what the BOP tells you. That's got to be further than 500 miles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But then you find out you really don't have any rights when they tell you got those rights, and they just take you and put you wherever, all over the place.
They definitely will.
So, Randall, tell me a little bit about Randall growing up. Where were you always in New Mexico?
Yes, sir. I was born and raised in Hobbs, New Mexico. I don't even know where to start.
Mom, dad, siblings.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Hobbs, New Mexico. I got 4 sisters.
Wow.
2 brothers.
Okay.
1 brother, 1 sister on from my mom, and then 3 sisters and a brother from my dad.
It's a big family.
Yeah. I grew up with a stepdad.
Yeah.
I grew up with a stepdad. Never knew my dad. I knew of him, never really met him a couple times. But
so Randall, tell me about that. So you knew of your dad, and you knew that, was he around like in the same state, or was he so far out that you never even, there was no contact whatsoever, and that was just a guy that you knew was your dad?
Oh, I'll tell you this. If it wasn't for my Uncle Robert, the one to live up the street, and his ex-wife now, which my sisters and brothers by, and my mom telling me about him, I probably wouldn't know him. I've seen him a couple of times, but that's about it, you know. That's about it. Now, his ex-wife, they used to come down before he divorced his wife. They used to come down almost every summer because her mom and dad was from here.
Okay.
And she would bring my sisters and brother over to see me, but he wouldn't come.
Wow. Well, tell me. So you've got this big family. You've got a stepdad. How was your relationship with that whole unit? Stepdad,
that's my dad.
The kids.
That's my dad.
That's your dad.
That's my dad. Yeah.
All right.
That's
cool.
my dad. He was an amazing man. He taught me a lot of stuff. Taught me how to work on cars, taught me how to be a man, everything.
That's very cool.
Some days he would get off of work after working long hours and come in the backyard and play basketball with me and my sister and my brother.
I love that.
Yeah.
So he just stepped right into that role.
Stepped right on in.
A role model, mentor, guy that helped you get through life. That's cool. So all those kids around, I mean, I'm sure it wasn't boring growing up. Sisters and brothers.
Well, no, it was just me. I stayed with my mom, so it was just me, my older brother, and my older sister.
Okay, so there's 3 of you.
Yeah,
that live
but
together.
Like I said, on the summer side, my little brothers and sisters would come for like a week or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you stay in touch with all of them now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are they mostly around that area, or are they all over?
They all in Oklahoma.
In Oklahoma, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Oklahoma. So growing up, did you play sports?
Yes, sir.
What'd you like?
I played basketball, football, ran track, but my passion was track.
Really?
Football, yeah.
What'd you do in track?
100, 200, and 400.
Ah, the fast man.
Yeah.
Yes. I think the 400 is the hardest race. I ran some track when when I was younger, and I always thought that 400 was the hardest because you were sprinting the whole time on that whole lap.
Well, the key to that is sprint, but save your power for that last 100.
Yep.
Yeah.
You had to have the kick.
You got to have that kick.
And what'd you do in football? You had to be fast, so you were in a skill position.
Yeah, I was wide receiver and cornerback, but I was a small kid. I was one probably in school. I was probably like 110 soaking wet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. No wonder you were so fast. I couldn't catch you. Like trying to catch a fly. So, was your team any good in high school?
Our football team down here, no. New Mexico is a basketball state. We're known for basketball, not football.
All right. Did you have a pretty good basketball team?
I didn't really play basketball in high school.
Yeah.
I did in junior high. We had a good team. The Hobbs Eagles, they pretty known worldwide.
All right.
I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, they got 16 championships. I think 3 of them was back to back in the early 2000s.
So they got quite a history then.
Yes, a lot of people from all over knows about the Hobbs Eagles and Coach Ralph Tasker.
Huh.
Yeah.
New Mexico basketball.
Yes, sir.
That's all right. You get into high school, you do your stuff, you get to be 18. What happens after that, Randell?
It also happened so fast. I thought I was running the streets and wanted to run the streets at the time. You know what I mean? And 2 weeks after I turned 18, I was still in high school. I called a retaliation against a witness case because a guy was going to court over my friend, but he was talking crazy to me, and we got into it. And I caught that case. They tried to kick me out of school, where I couldn't go nowhere in Lee County. I would have to either went to school in Texas or another county over. That didn't work out so well. They wound up dropping it down to aggravated battery. I got to stay in school, but I couldn't play no sports.
Wow. That was probably, at that time and period of your life, I'm sure that was a big deal.
Yeah, I love track, but like my mom was somewhere else. Like my mom was somewhere else, but I had a couple scouts looking.
Mm-hmm.
And I lost it all. But at the time, like I said, I was so caught up in the streets and worried about what I'm going to do in the streets after school. It really didn't bother me at the time.
Tell me about that, Randell. Getting caught up in the street and life. What were most of your friends? Is that what you were drawn to because everybody was kind of doing that and that was kind of the end thing of what you want to be involved in?
No, not really. Well, they say we are a product of our environment. I grew up in one of the tough sides of Hobbs, the east side of Hobbs, and that's all you seen. That's all we seen. That's all we knew at the time. You know what I mean? It was we had people that in our hood that would tell us, "Hey, you need to go to school." They see us, "Hey, y'all get to school." It wasn't like they were trying to get us to come.
Right.
They were trying to get us out of there, but we wasn't listening.
Right. What about your mom? Like your mom and your stepdad, did they know that that's where you were getting pulled into? I mean, was there any communication or any talk about that at the time?
No, they didn't. It's funny thing you said that because my sister always tells me I lived a double life. They never knew half of the stuff I was doing.
Yeah, you could have been an actor. So really, they thought they saw Randell, the guy around the house helping out, being with the family, and didn't really suspect anything.
No, no, not that I can think of. No, they didn't.
Yeah. So when did things start happening to where because you get this one case, and then I know you you weren't very old when you got in. Were you 22, 23?
22, 23. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you walk me through how that happened?
Well, like I said, I grew up in the hood, so that's all we knew. We seen every day. Um, like like the movie show, people want the cars, the money, the women, the status. I'm
Yeah.
not saying I wasn't no big timer, not at all. You know what I mean? But that's what I was drawn to. I liked it. I liked it. The excitement.
Yeah.
You know, growing up, I was fighting. I used to like to fight. I had a bad temper. I don't know why. I had a bad temper. So if you even looked at me wrong, sometimes we was fighting.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what me and my crew was known for. We was known for whooping people. We was known for hanging out. We was known for throwing parties, whatever. Um, growing up, I looked up to my older brother. My older brother, his name is Curtis. He just barely got out last year after doing 13 years.
It's a lot of time.
Yeah. I looked up to him. I looked up to my cousin Boo Boo. I looked up to my cousin Tunt, and of course my grandpa and my stepdad. My grandpa and my stepdad was the working man's, teaching us right, teaching us about family. Uh, you know, but my cousin them, my cousin, my brother, then they was all right. You know what I mean? I looked up to them. That's who I wanted to be. And I'm not saying that they was like no street violent people, you know what I mean? They did like we did. We hustled.
Mm-hmm.
We hustled. So, little brother looking up to big brother, little cousin looking up to big cousin.
Kind of reminds me of the story Gerald Murphy was talking a few podcasts back that his grew up, had a great family, but he saw when he was part of the streets, he had people he looked up to, and he wanted to be big in the streets. He said, he never got to where he was wanting to be, but that was a goal of his, to be the guy. And it's funny how that world, whether you're talking about legal business or illegal business, there's people in that world. You're like, hey, I'd like to be that. That's something I'd like to be.
Yeah.
Well, so go ahead, man. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Sorry. We
I
still there?
Yep.
Okay. My grandma, my grandpa, my mom, my dad, they when I say dad, I mean my stepdad.
Mm-hmm.
They taught us right. We had to go to church every Sunday. Had to. When they had a program, Easter, Christmas, whatever, we had to do it. We had to do poems for the church, everything. We had to usher, everything. They taught us right.
Mm-hmm.
We just wanted to do our own thing. And it cost us.
Yeah, and I guess I can see too, there, like you said, there's the adrenaline rush, the feeling that you're making something happen, you're having the parties, there's probably a decent amount of cash that can come with all that, and so that I can see easily how you get caught up in that. It's a world unto itself.
Yes, it is.
And you're running with the people who are in it, so it doesn't feel that different. I guess the only time you feel different is when you go home and you're like your sister said, you're living a double life.
I wasn't. I just knew how to hide it.
Yeah, yeah. So, so Randell, how did when it went down? Did they just break down the door and you were surprised about it, or did you know something was coming and you were preparing for it? How did the nightmare start with you?
No, I didn't know nothing. The guy that set me up, I was in Odessa, Texas.
Okay.
The guy that set me up, normal call, like we normally do. What he normally gets, and it didn't seem nothing that seemed off. Nothing that seemed off. of course, in the mix of my nightmare, I actually dragged my cousin in it because he was with me at the wrong place at the wrong time, and he didn't know nothing about it. You know,
Okay. Yeah.
We was at normal meeting place where we normally meet. We normally meet at the mall or something. I might go take what he need in this restroom and drop it off, and tell him, "Hey, go buy me a shirt and put the money in the bag and hand me the bag. Then I'll tell you where it's at."
Mm-hmm.
It's normal stuff like that, you know. So it didn't seem off. But I do remember that day when me and my cousin, because he had a party supply business, and we went to AT&T. This is when you had to get the little chip, the USB chip to put in there for the.
I remember that. Yeah.
Went to AT&T to try to get that for his laptop. And while he was talking to the lady, I told dude, I said, "Hey, just meet me over here at Rosa's, which is a restaurant that's right there." So when we was walking out, they was already looking for a Black African American. They didn't know what I looked like. They didn't know what I looked like, nothing. The paperwork said they was looking for a Black African American, but they didn't have no identification or knowing what I looked like. So me and my cousin walking, I actually remember the undercover lady walking by us. She looked normal clothing. I guess she radioed and said that there was 2 Black males walking. So we walk in this nail salon, and when I walk out, my cousin's still in there. When I walk out, they grab me, put me in handcuffs. They go in there and get my cousin. He don't know what's going on. So they searched me. I had the dope on me. They searched me 3 times. They didn't find it. They searched my cousin's truck. He was a felon. He already been out of prison almost 10 years. He was doing good for himself. He's a felon. Unfortunately, when you come from the streets, you still know, hey, people still can get you or whatever. So he kept his protection on him pretty much. You know what I mean? It wasn't his protection, but it was in his truck because somebody used it. Okay. So they found the gun under the driver's seat. Put us in handcuffs, searches. Then an undercover lady came, searched me, found it, searched his truck, found it. If she wouldn't have came, we probably would have got away because they searched his truck 3 or 4 times. They searched me 3 or 4 times, couldn't find it. That lady came, found everything. So on our way, when they taking us in, I kept telling them, like, "Hey, my cousin have nothing to do with this. He didn't have nothing to do with this." I didn't know at the time that the feds already had picked up our case. Because normal time in the state, if you say, "Hey, this is all mine, they ain't got nothing to do with this," they normally let them go. Mm-hmm. Well, we're in there. Everybody sing the sad song. Why did they snitch on me or whatever? My main focus at that time was trying to figure out how to get my cousin out because he really didn't have nothing to do with it.
Yeah, he had the record that he could get easily.
Yes, he had the record, but he didn't have nothing to do with
it.
Yeah. So we took it to trial. I got on the stand, said he didn't have nothing to do with it. Even the police officers got on the stand and said they was looking for 1 African American, not 2. Mm-hmm. The guy that told on me, I can't remember if they called him to the stand or not, but I know he was in there. Lost. They gave me 15 years, gave him, was it 20 for the drugs, 5 for the firearm, and it was 35 years total. I can't remember exactly what the other one was.
For your cousin?
Yes, because he had a prior dope case back from the 90s.
Man, wow. Yes. That'd take your breath away.
Yes. And so, both our lawyers said they're going to appeal it, which me and him started off at Beaumont together.
I've heard about Beaumont.
Yeah, me and him started off at Beaumont together. I mean, it's like anywhere else you go, whether it's prison or the streets. If you mind your business, don't get in nobody else's business and stay in your lane, you ain't got to worry about nothing.
Right.
You know, now, of course, prison, you're locked in a cage. So, you know, if a race ride jump off, you know, it's either fight or flight,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Um, but we started off Beaumont together. We was there. We was in library together, fighting our case, trying to find stuff for each other, you know, stuff like that. When my appeal came back, granted, his came back denied.
Oh
So
man,
it kind
Randall.
of, yeah, yes. So it kind of like took a blow, you know. I to this day I still feel like real bad because he he uh he was in there for something he didn't have nothing to be in, no business being in there. But
Wrong
the
place,
crook,
wrong time, and
but the
being an
crooked,
ex-felon.
yeah, but the crooked system, they're not trying to hear. They're not trying to hear nothing. You know
No,
what I
and
mean?
I mean the fact that the appeal went and it was the same case, and yours was granted and his wasn't.
Yeah. Mine was granted with the gun because I wasn't the owner of the truck. I didn't have the keys in my pocket. And of course, I think they said I was like more than 50 feet away from the truck when they
Right.
arrested me.
Yeah.
So they hit us with a 924C furthering use of a drugs transaction, which is they try to say you had a firearm to protect the drugs.
Right. Right. So that knocked you down to what, 10 years from 15?
Pretty much. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It did. Um but he appealed.
That
You know,
broke up.
I got shipped
Randall,
off.
Randall, just back that up because you broke up a little bit. I'll cut that. But what were you, just whatever you were saying there, it broke off.
I said, after his got denied, he kept high spirits though. He kept fighting.
Yeah.
Uh, I got shipped off to Big Springs, which at the time the my case manager, she was like, I'm gonna put you in for this low, but normally they don't like you jumping custodies.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess I was looking to jump custody because they sent me to Big Springs, and I was there about 7 months,
So you
and
went.
then
So Randall, you went from a maximum to a low. Was Big
yeah,
Springs a low? Okay.
because my points dropped so low.
Right. Right. Through the
Because my
appeal. Okay.
age and then my when the time got dropped off. Yes, sir.
Did you
And so
see,
I went.
Randall? Did you see much difference jumping in custody levels from a maximum to a low? I mean, what was your daily life that much different, or did it?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
it's different. You went from a 2-man cell, you getting locked in at 9 o'clock at night, don't get unlocked to 5 or 6,
Mm-hmm.
to a dorm where it's bunk beds everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, you don't really get locked down. You know, the respect level for the two different custodies was different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's no child molesters in uh
Maximum.
maximums. You
Right.
know what I mean? So it was a bit to adjust to because I was so used to on the edge because you never knew what was gonna happen.
Right.
To it was kind of more relaxed, but it
More
wasn't.
relaxed.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Well, I was there for about 7 months, and then I put my hands on the child molester, and they shipped me off.
Okay. And where did they ship you to then?
Herlong, California.
Okay.
That
Another
was
low.
no, that was a medium.
There's a medium. Okay.
Yeah. Herlong was pretty much like Beaumont.
Okay.
It was no tolerance for bullshit, pretty much. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Your paperwork had to be right, couldn't be telling. And of course, you're on the West Coast. That's gangland, so you know
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of gangs involved. You know,
Right.
uh, I was there.
How did that work, Randall? I'm curious on the gang deal when you get into a like in California that's known for really strong gang participation in the prison system. What did you feel like that as far as you personally, were you did you feel pressure or did you feel like you needed to be a part of a gang in that environment? Like, how did that work?
No, well, I was part of a gang in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I was part of the gang in the streets. So, I'm part of the Crip gang. I was gangster Crip, you
Right.
know. So going in when I was in Beaumont, crazy thing is when I was in Beaumont, my sister's fiance that died, his brother was there in there. He was my bunkie, and I did not know for like 4 months that that was my sister's fiance's brother
That
until
is
we got
crazy.
yeah we
Talking
went
about
on
small world stuff.
yeah we went on lockdown. We went on lockdown because of riot, and we showing each other pictures and talking. And he flipped me through his photo album. And I see a picture of my sister. I'm like, hey, hold on, flip that back. And he flipped back and said, that's my sister. And he's like, Crystal, your sister? I was like, yeah. He was like, Travis is my brother. I was like, oh shit. No shit.
I'll be
And
damned.
so yeah. And
So being part of the Crips, anywhere that you would travel to, that your people would be there to help kind of get you transitioned into the whatever the new world order is, I guess, at the next prison.
yeah, well when you get there, they ask you where you from. They ask you where you from, and they'll tell you who your people is. So when I got there, like I said, I went to the dorm. It was a guy named Hawk, and I forgot the other guy's name, and Angelo, which we call him Lolo. They was there, and when I said I'm from New Mexico, they pointed me to Angelo, which is my bunkie. And so he was asking me like, "Where you from?" This and that, and he said, "Do you bang?" And I told him, "Yeah." He said, "Well, you can either run with us or you can run with Texas." New Mexico had a little thing going because, like I said, we at the bottom. We like state line of Texas, like 5 miles away from my grandma's house. So we at the
You're right
bottom.
at the
So he's
border.
like,
Yeah.
you can either rep New Mexico or you can rep the Crips. We're gonna respect it either way as long as you don't be on the funny business. So I told him, I said, I'm from New Mexico. You know what I mean? I wasn't trying to be hard or nothing. I told him straight up, I'm from Hobbs, New Mexico. You know what I mean? He's like, I respect it.
Yeah.
He laced me up on what to do, how to move in there, because that was my first time in prison.
Yeah.
And I was at the max. He laced me up. Now fast
So
forward back.
I guess I forgot to ask you, Randall, because it was your first time in prison, and I know running in the gang on the streets, but you get into prison. What's going through your mind? Like, what's your thought process of heading into prison, federal prison? You're 23. What's going through your mind?
Nothing, because I done been through the worst out in the street. So, I done did it all, seen it all. So I was prepared to do whatever I had to take to survive. You know what I mean?
You were going to adapt no matter what, and you'd seen so much in the streets that you weren't afraid of what you were going to see in there.
No, I wasn't. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I said, the only thing different between the streets and prison, you caged in.
Yeah. Right.
That's the only difference.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when you come from where I come from, or anybody come from, any hood, you know what I mean? It's not my hood, anywhere, you adapt. Like I said, either fight or flight. And I was always a fighter, so.
Probably didn't work too bad for you there if you were a fighter. So Randall, you get into the medium there. You're there for a while because you told me I think you went to 4 or 5 places, right?
Yeah, like I said, after Big Springs, I went to Herlong, and when I got to Herlong, my bunkie Lolo was there then.
In California.
Yeah, he was there then. He got released from there actually.
Okay.
He was there then. And, he told me, he said, I already know what you're running. Here go your people over here. He said, but us Crips, we got your back. As long as you don't be on the funny business and it's legit business, we got your back. There, that place was really rocking and rolling when I was there. It was really rocking and rolling. You know, they didn't tolerate nothing from the Crips, Bloods, Vice Lords, GDs, Aaron Brothers to the Indians, whatever gang was there.
Pisces.
Yeah, you know, they didn't tolerate it. You know,
Yeah.
it was you had to be respectful there.
Everything was
Even though it was a media.
pretty,
Yeah.
pretty locked down, taken care of.
Yeah.
So you didn't see a lot of violence, maybe. Not too many people got out of line.
No, I mean they did. Like, there's a lot of Southsiders there. So when the Northanians came, it was already they just dropped their bags and start fighting. Sometimes they didn't even go to the unit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it was up North Cali, but the Southsiders pretty much had their yard.
Yeah. So did you during all that time, did you ever spend any time in the hole?
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, of course, when I put my hands on a child molester, I was in the hole. I think he kept me in the hole like 4 or 5 months.
That's a long time.
Yeah, because they kept rerouting me.
Were you in the hole by yourself, or did you have somebody in there with you?
I was in there by myself, and then they'll bring somebody in there, and then they'll take them out, you know, so forth, so forth. And
what did you do in the hole?
Read.
Yeah.
You can't really do too much in the hole.
No.
You know,
try not to go insane.
Yeah.
All that time locked down. Would you get out an hour a day?
Big Springs, if they wanted to come get you.
So you could be in there the whole time. They might just decide to let you out for an hour a day if they felt like it.
Yeah. But they have to come get mandatory showers Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But yeah, sometimes they wouldn't take us out for rec all week.
Were you able to communicate people in the hole? With they
stripped my phone and commissaries, but of course they give you visits, but
yeah,
you know, I wasn't worried about no visit.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, being so far away, every time that you were, did you ever have visits from the outside?
Yeah, when I was in the county, I used to get visits almost every week. If my sister and my mom didn't bring my son at the time, my son was a year and something. The 15-year-old at the time, he was like one something. Yeah, if they didn't bring him, one of my homegirls would bring him, or his mom would bring him up there to come see me. When I went to Beaumont, of course, I wasn't expecting a visit, you know.
Right.
But my grandma them did go to Houston one year, and they supposed to give me, you know, that's your immediate family, whether they're on your visitation or not. They supposed to prove it if they there. And my grandma and my grandpa tried to come see me, and they didn't let them see me.
So Randell, you eventually make it to Leavenworth in 2014. So how many years do you think you've done up until you got to Leavenworth? Because that's where I found you. You probably spent what, 3 years?
5, 6 years.
Yeah. So you got to Leavenworth, and what's your thoughts walking into Leavenworth after you've been around the world?
I was just like, I don't know. Like, I didn't, because I like after I left her long, I went to Latuna.
Mm-hmm.
Latuna was a low dorms. They had like little bunkers. It was kind of like just a doorway, but you had 4-man cells. No door on them. You can stay out till 12, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning if you want to, depending on the CO. So when I left Latuna and went to Leavenworth, I was already adapted kind of to that right there.
Mm-hmm.
But Latuna, even though it was a low, Latuna, I'd seen a couple people get stabbed in Latuna. Yeah, Latuna was a low, but they didn't really tolerate too much. Just right there by El Paso.
I think Strobe was there in Latuna.
I can't remember.
I could be wrong, but I was thinking he was at Latuna at the low, and then he came to Leavenworth.
Yeah.
But okay, so you got to Leavenworth. I think I got to Leavenworth January of 2014, and you got to Leavenworth a little bit after that in 2014.
Yeah.
So your thoughts going into now you're at a camp level minimum. Do you feel like you're and I guess in your mind you've done most of your time now, on the more than 50% of your time. Does it feel like when you get to Leavenworth at that time, Randall, that you were making headway to get to the end of it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you work in the shop? The garage?
I was in the kitchen first, and then I forgot guy's name. He got me on doing the visitation floors over there at the Medium.
Oh yeah, I remember that. You did that with oh God, who'd you do that with?
I forgot the guy's name. I'm trying to think of it.
I do remember you doing that.
Evan,
yeah, because you had a job. You had a job that. What was it?
We went up there like cleaning offices, and then once they seen I knew how to buff floors, they just mainly kept me cleaning and buffing the both visitation rooms, because they had an upstairs and downstairs visitation room.
Yeah, I remember you doing that, because that was such a weird thing, because none of us ever went to the Medium. I mean, we all looked at it. We saw the fence, the big tall, brick fence, all around it, and all the barbed wire and everything. And I walked past that place every day to the food warehouse, but you actually went in there every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally different deal. I went in there one time when they had a lockdown, and we from the food warehouse we had to bring the truck in there because they had all those what they call them, bag nasties, where they make those little bags. Yeah. So we went and walked that through the truck all the way through there, because there wasn't any, because they were locked down. There's no help. So we walked. It was weird in there. They had all these cats running around, and real cats. It was a weird environment.
Yeah, I hate cats.
I just thought the whole thing. I mean, it looked like, and there was one big building back there in the back in the yard. It had all the windows and stuff broken out of it. It looked like it had been abandoned. It was just a weird. And then there was nobody around, obviously, so because they were all locked down. It was kind of creepy, But you went there all the time. You were buffing floors. Did you ever clean up around where the warden was?
Yeah, we used to go dump his trash, the assistant warden trash, and then like the secretaries, we would split up and doing shit like that. But like I said, after I think it was the bottom visitation floor, it was pretty bad. And after I didn't even really strip it. All I did was put Dawn soap on there and took a pad and cleaned up the old wax and put new wax down. He was like, "Man, I need you to do the top one. I need you to keep these ones. I need you to keep these floors done."
He liked it. That was Warden May.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, he liked it clean. He used to do those weekly inspections and come through. He was clean freak. So, Randall, when you were going through all this time, because prison's not an easy place. How did you handle, like, what were your main thoughts or strategies of handling hard days and getting through time?
You got to just block that shit out your mind. Like, I think my hardest day in there, well, every day was hard, of course, because I was away from my son and my family.
Yeah.
But I think the hardest day, I think, is when I called New Year's Eve, 2000, New Year's Day, matter of fact. And my grandma told me my grandpa passed the day before. I think that was that's when I kind of like I didn't really cry nothing, but kind of like just broke down. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, like,
well, like what would you do to busy your mind to get through a day in prison? Like if you knew you were having this is a shitty day, what would Randall do?
that phone, that email,
Yeah,
spades, pinochle. Um, Shit, I
yeah,
even walked the track and listened to music. When they gave us them MP3 players, that's the best thing they could have did because I love music. So
yeah.
when I had one of them days, pop my earphones in and
I'm with you. I did a lot of walking with that MP3. Yeah, I mean, to me, I so much liked being outside and in that little rundown looking schoolhouse, being outside and just walking and listen to music. That was kind of like an escape in itself. But I agree with you too. If you could make connection with the outside world, it felt like you were real again. You know,
yeah,
if you felt like you were really just having one of those pity party days, you know, when it seemed like it was so far out, you were going to get out, making that connection back was kind of touch back to reality.
yeah.
Yeah. So you started to get close to the door, Randall. 6 months to the door. What are you thinking? It's been a while.
Um, I don't know. It felt unreal. And then, of course, what was his name? What was the dude's name that was over the RDAP?
Dr. Wells.
Dr. Wells wanted me so bad. And so, like, after I got out of there, he made my life a living hell to the day I got it, to the day they released
me. Did he really?
Yes.
Meaning that he was trying to take your time? What was he
like,
doing?
Okay, because you know how it went in there. You know.
Oh yeah,
You
it's
know how it went.
crazy
You know
weird.
what I mean? You know how it went in there. You know what people was doing. They hear things, this and that. So, I'm slick. And I got a slick mouth. So, I'm telling him, he come search me. What are you searching me for? Get your hands off me. What you searching me for? Why you fucking with me? You know how it was in there. And,
Yeah.
and when we was in RDAP, I had a slick mouth. I didn't hold my tongue for nothing. And he was like, we know what you're doing, and this and that. And you're getting caught. So I think one day I forgot what I did. I think I had my shirt untucked or something. I forgot what it was. It was something petty. And he can't
Yeah,
fuck with
something
me.
real serious, shirt untucked.
Yeah, no, I forgot what it was. And
No, he
he
was
came,
a big stickler on that. He'd get
yeah,
people down for having their shirts untucked.
yeah, but I forgot what it was. And he was fucking with me. I said, man, stop fucking with me. And he got my job. He got my job took away over there at the thing.
Oh
And
man.
that's when he made me come back and sit in RDAP for them 2 weeks until I left.
Mm. You
Yeah.
sat with him?
Now he made me go back to the RDAP for 2 weeks in that class for anger. You know that little part where you got to do the look like the anger part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
that's
my
not
last
good.
2 weeks.
That's not good.
Yeah.
Not good. So you're getting ready to get released. You've been in Randall for a while.
Yeah.
Is your mind thinking, okay, how's it going to be when I get out? Who am I going to go live with? I mean, have you got this all locked down?
Actually, I mean, no, I just, like I said, it didn't feel real.
Yeah.
And when I walked out, even when I got on the bus, it still didn't feel real. You
And
know
you're
what I
taking the
mean?
bus all the way back to New Mexico, right?
Well,
On a long ride.
well, I flew in, but yeah, I flew in to spend time with my mom. Then it didn't feel real until I seen my mom and my son, and that's when I knew, okay, I'm home now.
What was her reaction after all this time?
Actually, when I was coming, she was about to head to work, and I kept telling everybody to stall her because my sister knew I was coming. My son didn't know either.
Yeah. And how old was your son at this time? About 5 or so?
No, he's about to be 9.
9. Okay.
Yeah, he's about to be 9, and So they stalled her, and then I walked in. You know, she just hugged me and was crying. You know, and then
I had you feel good after all that time.
Yeah,
yeah,
my grandma, and my son. Everybody else knew. Then my son's mom was bringing him over, so I went and hid in the kitchen. And then he walked in. His eyes got big, like he couldn't even believe I was there.
It didn't seem real.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing quite like that. You can't recreate that day where you reconnect, get out, and you feel like so much that you had to go through, you accomplished, it's done. Now you're home, you're back with people that, you know, love you, care for you, want good things for you. So Randall, what was it like getting back to reentry? It
was rough.
Did you go halfway house?
Yeah, I had to go halfway house. This time, my second son's mom, I was with her. We reconnected, put it that way.
Yeah.
When I halfway house. And she helped me a lot. Like
you need that. I mean, you gotta have. It's almost impossible, I think, Randall, to get back into the world without somebody that's helping you, because there's just so many things coming at you, and you're in a shitty environment in a halfway house. So you got to have somebody to reach out to, because it's so overwhelming to try to get back, your foot back into society.
Yeah, like when I started working, like she would come take me, like when they give you passes.
Yeah.
She'll take off work, or she was going to school at times. She'll leave school early, come drive out. It's like a 25 minute drive from Midland to Odessa, probably a little less.
Mm-hmm.
She would drive there, come pick me up from the halfway house, take me where I need to go, drop me back off, go back, do what she need to do. When I started working, I was working right there by the halfway house. And then they made me quit that job because I was, doing a little bit too much. They couldn't prove it, so they just made me quit that job. Then I started working at this Subway. I ain't gonna say on the other side of town, but about halfway.
Mm-hmm.
And it'd be nights that I missed the bus and it'd be raining, and she was a bartender. She'd leave her job, drive there, come pick me up, take me to the halfway house, and go back to work. So
that's nice.
She helped me out a lot. She helped me out a lot to get me back in where I need to be. You know what I mean? She did.
That's good. So what's life now like? I mean, because I know life getting out is not easy. I mean, there's nothing easy about. I always say, people look at you and say, "Oh man, you got to be so excited you're out of prison." I am so excited, but man, there's a lot going on in your head and a lot that you're trying to get adjusted to back into the world.
You have your ups and downs. You're up 1 minute, you're down, you're up, you're down.
Mm-hmm.
Getting out. I think 2 months after I got out, released from the halfway house, she got pregnant. Boom. Get a job. Well, she gave me a job.
Were you living back with your mom?
No. I was with my youngest son's mom at the time in Odessa, Texas.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so we living there. Kind of hard for me to find a job. So she tell her boss, "Hey, let him come bar back for us Thursday through Saturday." Okay, cool. So I'm bar back, and then there's a guy in there that her boss knew that needed hands for the oil field. So I would go with him, and we did BOP testing. We helped him move him. We put him back in, then we had to test him. I guess because he thought that I just barely got out of prison, he was just going to jank me on some money, so that didn't last long.
Mm-hmm.
And then
looking for the felon discount.
Yeah, and then so then I got a job at this place called Inland Tarp and Liner. We build, I don't know if they got them up your way probably, but we build tarps and liners for the oil, gas, and agriculture industry.
Okay.
And some of these liners can be 100 feet by 100 feet wide, or some of them was up to 700 feet long and 100 some feet wide, and it was crazy
Wow.
how.
Those are
Yeah,
big.
yeah. It's called welding, but it's plastic welding. It's got this machine to weld the plastic together. Well, I was there. Uh, I got the job in February of 2017. I was still doing that job and bar backing. So I would go there 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, get off at 6, 7 o'clock, try to take a 30, 40 minute nap, and then go bar back from 8 to 3 o'clock in the morning. And but I only bar back on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays.
Yeah.
And so I want to say it was May 2017. The boss came to me and said, "Hey man, if you quit that job," because I was still a temp service still with that. He's like, "Man, if you quit that barbecue job, I'll bring you on full time." I said,
All
"For
right.
real?" Yeah. So he brought me on full time. And like a month after that, they trained me to be a QA, a quality auditor. So they started training me on that. Um, I guess I just showed that I can work. I was beating records on like they have time set that you have to build certain liners. I was
Yeah.
beating the time and stuff like that, so they liked my work. So the guy brought me into the office, and it's crazy how he trained me. He was like, "This is what you do. You put this here, you put this here, you put this here," and he walked out and built 16 liners, and I had to remember how to do everything, and that's how he trained me.
Wow.
And I was with them for about 2 years. Me and my son's mom split up. Um, I moved back to Hobbs. I got a job working heavy equipment operator at this place called PB Materials. I was there 2019. COVID hit 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of slowed stuff up a little bit. So they were like, "Hey, come work at the plant in Lubbock." Okay. So I moved to Lubbock about the summer of 2020, somewhere around there. And that didn't last long because they didn't give me the hours I was working over there. So I left there, did this odd job doing uh, installing internet lines. I did that about a couple months. Then I got a job at this place called David Gas Processing. I was working at a gas plant. I did
So
that. Hmm?
is that where you're at now?
No, sir. I got my CDL now, but
Got your CDL now, which is something that is really needed in our society. People
yeah,
getting stuff from one place to the other.
yeah. But through all this time, COVID is bad. So I go there. 2021, I'm still there. Beginning of 2021, me, my grandma, my mama, my sister, and my auntie catch COVID. None of us had symptoms. The only reason we found out was I took my grandma to the doctor, and they tested her because she was elderly, of course. And then they tested me because she came out positive. I was positive. Then my sister, my auntie, and my mom had to go. Um, we was there. I was there at Davis Gas Processing until about March, and then Inland called me back. Asked me, it was the guy that I trained, the guy and the girl that I trained. The guy was a production leader, and the woman I trained, she was in QA office. I trained her before I left.
Okay.
They kept trying to get me to come back, come back, come back, and so finally I was just like, you know what? Y'all give me my office, I'll come back.
Mm-hmm.
So he talked to the new guy. The guy was like, I can't give him his office back right away, but he'll be in that office. But I need him out here with you on the floor showing people how to do it, and also in there helping Susie, which is the one that I trained. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay. Still at this time, I'm thinking 18, $19 is still good. I had no idea there's a whole different ball game out there until after I got my CDL. But I was at Inland, and one day my cousin, he kept telling me, like, man, you need to get your CDL. He did like 3 or 4 years in prison. He got out, started working with my friend driving trucks. Now he owned his own truck. And so he kept telling me, man, you need to get your CDL. I'm trying to get another truck so you can drive it. So one day I just decided, I'm just like, fuck it. I got to do something different. I told the boss there, I said, man, I appreciate you bringing me back. I hope I helped you pick your numbers back up, because that's why they brought me. Like, they were building like 1-liner, 2-liners a day, I think. But when I left the first time, we was building up to sometimes 20 liners a day, depending on the size.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah. And so quit, paid for my CDL school, took a month, did that, got my CDL, and I'm looking for a job. This job's here, oil field based. I said, no, I don't want nothing oil field based, because I don't want to be out there 14, 15 days and then only come home for 3 or 4 days. You know what I mean? I didn't want that.
Yeah.
So I got my CDL in August. I'm still job hunting. In September, I'm still job hunting. My cousin that owns his truck now, he was like, I started off at Ready Ice. So it's just crazy. I'm in Odessa one day at the gas station. I see a Ready Ice truck. So I see the guy walk out and say, hey, man, I said, y'all hiring? He said, yeah. I said, man, I just got my CDL last month. I'm looking for a job. He said, well, I'm the district manager. He was delivering ice. He said, I'm the district manager. He said, give me your name and number. I told him, I said,
how about that? How about that for the right place, right time for that? I mean, you went for the opportunity right there, Randell. Yeah. That's good. I like that story.
And so I was with them for about a month. You know, I told you my grandma caught COVID, so this whole 2021, you know, she was on an oxygen tank after that. So, you know, all of us had to pull together and help my grandma. Yeah. You know, from me coming in after work to cooking for her, or, you know, cook for her and my mom, because my mom used to work overnights. From one of my cousin Boo Boo going to go get her medicine to whatnot, you know, we had to all pull together. So the day before Halloween, the day before Halloween last year, she passed. So I was working there, and I just gave up. You know what I mean? Because my grandma, she was
everything.
She was, not only my heart, everybody's heart. You know what I mean? So I kind of like gave up. And at the time, I kept telling her she loved Coca-Cola. At the time, like, I'm gonna get a job with Coca-Cola. I'm trying to get the job with Coca-Cola. She's like, good, you can bring my Cokes, you know? And so I got the job with Coca-Cola. And I think I told her. And like a week later, she passed.
Oh, wow.
Speaking of that, when my brother also got out last year, I forgot to mention that. My brother got out, I think around May of last year. I think maybe earlier, because he got out the halfway house in October of last year. And soon as my grandma went to the hospital, and we all known her as, when she go to the hospital, she's gonna be back. She's a strong woman. She was working up till she was 85, till she got sick. So we all know normally when she go to the hospital, she'll come home a couple days. So my brother get out the halfway house. He gets down, comes see her. As soon as he leaves, she passes. That's the first time he's seen her since he got locked up, and he was gone 13 years.
Wow.
So, you know, that was kind of devastating. So, you know, back on, I went to Coke, working, going in 5, getting off at 6, 7, so forth, you know. And they was training me, but I kept asking them, like, when y'all gonna let me go out on my own, and how y'all gonna do it? So one day they just threw me in the truck. Well, you have to follow the truck until they get you cleared with JJ Keller. It's an insurance company. They have to get you cleared before you can drive the actual semi. And so when I got cleared, they just threw me in the semi with, I think it was my first time, was like 12 stops. And 6 of them, you had to fully stock 100%. So they had to send somebody to help me. And the guy been there like 5-6 years. He was like, I don't know why they gave you this big route. This is like a route for us. They should have gave you like an 8-hour route or
something easier. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I kept having problems with them with coke. And then my cousin that owned this truck, he works for a propane company. He like, man, we're hiring. Go get your hazmat and come over here if you don't like coke. I went on my day off, got my hazmat passed, and went and got my fingerprints. He got me on. That's why I've been there ever since. WTG.
You like it?
Yeah.
You like that? Yeah. Propane.
And this crazy because Davis Gas Processing is WTG Fuels, but it was propane. We did the propane for the big trucks to come get them. It was a yard that I worked at. Now I'm driving a truck.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, one thing I could say, Randall, is you didn't waste any of your time trying to get from one place to the other, and you take jobs and work long hours to get what you needed, and then it sounds like you found what you like.
Yeah, like they say, you gotta love the job in order to like the job. You know what I mean? So, like I said, it was ups and downs, and but now I got it.
Yeah, you didn't stop. That's the main thing that happens is a lot of people, especially when they get out, they get stuck and they quit. And you didn't do that. You kept going and kept trying to make something happen for yourself that felt right, which is good. It's really good. Randall, if I was going to ask you, like, out of all this experience that you've got, because you got so much, what would be your takeaway to impart to the listeners about all that you've been through?
What I would say is be yourself, no matter what. No matter what.
Don't lose yourself.
Be yourself. No matter if you lose friends, family don't like you, always be yourself. Don't try to impress nobody. I try to instill that on my son a lot. Don't try to impress nobody, just be yourself. Don't be a follower, be a leader.
I like that.
What else I can say is the streets ain't what it is. It's not what it's hyped up to be. Yeah, the money good, the women might be good or whatever. You're only gonna end up 2 ways.
Yeah.
Some people is lucky enough to escape it, but not many. You know what I mean?
Good stuff. I think, and you've lived that life and you know it and you can speak to it. That's where the credibility comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah. Randall, man, good stuff, man. Thank you so much for being on today. What an interesting story. You've been around the world and back. What's great is you've got a 15-year-old, you got a 5-year-old, you got yourself in, you're working with family. And I know the CDL license isn't an easy thing to get, so you did what you had to do to get that. So props to you, man. Good stuff.
I'm built for it tough.
Yeah, built for it tough.
But I don't like Fords. I'm built for it tough.
All right, everybody. Getting out of here today. If you're still looking for a book, I wrote one. It's called Nightmare Success. For everybody, love you guys liking things, subscribing to things, leave a review on Apple or wherever if you feel like it. That's always nice. And I really appreciate you all tuning in every week. Everybody, Nightmare Success in and out. Thank you, Randall McKoy.
Thank you.